Hello. Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to be here with you today for a live demonstration. My name is Dawn, and I am the owner and creator and digitizer at Creative Appliques. And so I am extremely excited to be here with you today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and hello. Welcome to Team Replay. Let me know where you're checking in from. Let's give a few more minutes, a few more moments for people to catch up and check in. Also, if you're watching this video on Facebook, please give me a thumbs up. And also, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button so I know that you're enjoying my content. And it helps to spread the word, and it helps to get the word out there. Also, you can share the link with all of your sewing friends, your quilting friends, your embroidery friends, and that way we could continue giving you more content. So let's see where everyone's checking in from today. We have West Virginia, the New Jersey Shore. Hello from the USA. Good morning from Idaho. Hello from Texas and Chesapeake, Virginia. Grace, you're my neighbor. I don't live too far from Chesapeake. Hello from Florida, Indiana, Tennessee, Ohio. So many wonderful people joining me. Richmond, thank you so much. Hi, Judy. Nice to see you here. And Ether, hello. Hope I said that correctly. Hello from Pennsylvania, Phoenix, Arizona. Oh, it's so wonderful to see all of you here today. Thank you for joining me. Hi, Joyce. Good to see you. Good to see everyone here checking in. I hope your weather's nice. How is your weather in wherever you are? I'm in Virginia, as I mentioned, and it is sunny. It is a nice, about 70 degrees, so it's a pleasant day outside. So it is going to be a perfect day for me to go outside later and wear my embroidered hat that says, "Hello, sunshine." And that's what we're here to talk about today. We are here to talk about embroidering on a straw hat. So let's take care of some housekeeping first, and then we'll get right into the project. Yes, hot and humid in Florida already, huh, Carla? Crazy. Okay, so one of the most important things that you're going to want to know is we have 2 giveaways today, not just one. We are going to be featuring in this video the Durkee Easy Frame Hoop. And Durkee has been so generous to give away to one lucky winner a single needle easy frame of your choice. So whatever machine you have and whatever frame size you want, they're going to send that to you. So I also am giving a giveaway as well. $20 store credit to the Creative Appliques website, where you can load up on some fonts or designs of your desire. So you get to pick and choose what you want, things that you don't own and things that you would love to have. So in order to be entered into the giveaway, though, you must type into the chat box #creative. As you see up here, there's no space. It's a #creative, no appliques, just #creative. Putting that into the comment box, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, will enter you into the giveaway. You only need to do it once because you will only be entered into the giveaway once. So it's very exciting because normally I always do a giveaway and I always give store credit to the website, but Durkee has been extremely generous today to share with you one of their easy frames. And we'll show you that frame later on when we get to stitching. So that was one of the most important things I think you all are interested in. Okay, and so make sure that you are following us on Facebook. I'm very active on Facebook. I also have a fan group. You can find me over in my fan group as well. But it is very important to follow me on Facebook so you're alerted to when I have giveaways. I have giveaways every Friday now. I give away the font that is featured for that week. And you can comment on the giveaway on Facebook, my Facebook business page, as well as in the fan group. So that gives you 2 chances to win the font every Friday. So make sure you're following me on Facebook, because that way you're alerted to giveaways and sales and new releases and when I'm going live and demos. And so I do these live videos once a month, but I'm also on other shows. About a month ago, I was on the Let's Go Sew show with Joanne Danko. And so there are other opportunities for me to do live demonstrations, which I absolutely love doing. And I put that all on my Facebook page. So make sure you're following over there. Okay. And you can see from scrolling down below that comment and the link for the Facebook page. And then you can find the Facebook group from there. So making sure that you're following us on social media. We're also on Instagram, and you can follow us there. All right. So can I put my Facebook link in the chat? Hi, Ann. Good to see you here. Yes, let me grab that quick. And also, if you have any questions, it's really helpful if you can put a few question marks in front of the put a few question marks in front of your question so I can flag it and know to answer. One of the most important things that's helpful on these lives is that I can answer the questions that you may have. So I want to make sure I get all of those. And there's lots of comments that go very fast and they keep streaming quickly. So in order to get to them, and if perchance it's passed and I haven't gotten to it, please make sure to type it in. But right now, so Ginger, I see that you said that you need the gift card. You lost everything you owned on your computer, everything I owned for a long time. Okay, so if you own any of my designs, if you purchased them from my website or if you purchased them from Etsy, they're always there. So if you have an account and you've purchased from me, you can go to the website, log into your account, and download the designs. They are always there. And if I ever update a file, if I add new designs to a file, or there was something that might have been an issue with the file, I update files and the new files are automatically added into your account. So if you have problems logging into your account, let me know. But if you've lost everything on your computer, anything you've purchased from me in the past is there for a lifetime. So no worries on that. Okay, so how many of you, let's get into it now. How many of you have actually stitched on a straw hat before? Let me know in the comments if you have stitched on a straw hat. So the ones that we're using today, they're called straw. They kind of look like straw, but actually a lot of them now are paper, interestingly enough. And the thing that's awesome about them is that they're very packable, and they can be rolled and folded and put into a suitcase. And then you just simply get an iron or a steam from the iron and are able to smooth out the wrinkles and stuff. And probably, having it sitting out in the sun as well helps to flatten out any kind of wrinkles that may be in the hat. Mary Ellen said she's stitched several but wants to learn the best way. Well, I hope we can give you some tips and tricks and ideas here today. Glad you're here too, Joyce. Debbie says she has stitched some on straw hats years ago. Christine is a total newbie wanting to learn. Gwen has not stitched on them. Pam has struggled with getting the right circular curvature. So we're hoping to show you how easy and simple that is today. I'm going to show you in both Embrilliance and in Designs and Machine Embroideries Perfect Embroidery Pro. Let me see here. Carla, can the technique used on the hat be used on placemats also? The circular placemats, I assume you're talking about? Absolutely, yes. This is not going to be strictly to the hat. All it's going to be is showing you how to curve the lettering along the correct curvature and angle that you want it to be. And that way you can do it on a placemat. So that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. Let me see. Tambra said she hasn't, but she has 2 that she wants to stitch on. Linda says she hopes you're going to show how to remove the stabilizer from underneath. Yes, we will get to all of that. Debbie has not stitched on a hat, and that's why she's here. Thank you for joining us, Debbie. Happy to have you here. Stitching on a straw hat is new to me, Betty. Well, hopefully we will show you how simple and how easy it is. And the thing to remember as well with this video, it is being recorded. So you can come back later or when you have your hats, and you can watch it again as many times as you need to. All right. Lori's always wanted to try. So many of you have not stitched on these, and it is one of the easiest, simplest things to do. Dee said she has done a monogram on a hat. Yes, monograms are very popular to put on the hat. The 3-letter monograms or 2-letter monogram, very popular on the hat. But with that, you just simply create the design within the size of the brim, and then you stitch it on there. One of the things that I wanted to help show you today is how to curve the text, and so it makes it a lot easier instead of just writing it straight across in a line. Okay. Patty has several years ago. Just wanting to make sure I see. Ether has a straw hat from travel that she would like to embroider. Not yet. Marjo, I hope that's correct, has not stitched on a hat. So a lot of you have not. So I'm so happy I'm doing this video for you and that you have joined me today. So let's get into it. Let's flip over now to the table, and we will look at some samples here. Quickly, Joanne asks, do you need the special software to attempt this? So in order to do the correct curvature, it is helpful to have software so that you can get the curvature correctly. But you certainly don't need software if you're able to put the lettering together on your machine and get it exactly where you think it would work. You could do that. If you have a machine, like I have the Brother Luminaire here that has the camera on it. There's also Baby Lock has one with a camera on it as well, that if you can take a picture of the hat, which would be essentially your background, and then you can get that curvature of it, and then you can place the lettering around it in that way. But I'm not going to be showing that today. Maybe that is something my friend Joanne Banco, hey Joanne, maybe my friend Joanne Banco might be able to teach you something like that. She is a Brother ambassador, and so she knows everything about the Brother machines. And so she is definitely an amazing wealth of knowledge, and hopefully maybe by putting that little bug in her ear, she might go ahead and do a live on that. She goes live every month as well, so go join her channel too. All right, so let's flip over to the table and look at some samples here. All right, so here we are. This hat it has a circumference of, 17 inches. So this is a pretty wide brim here. Let me grab my measuring tape to see how wide this brim is. All right, so it's about 4.5 inches, okay? So that shows you how wide the brim is. And this one here, I've used a 6x10 hoop. Today we're going to be using a 5x7 in the interest of time to get it to be a little smaller, a little less to stitch. But one of the things I wanted to talk about is choices in fonts. So this font here is on my website, and it's called AMELIA. And this one looks very thick when it's on regular items, but on the hat, it's looking a little bit thin. Now, I like the look of it. I think it looks nice, but some people might feel like it's a little bit too thin. But if you see here, I wanted to show you how we were able to curve down around the curvature of the hat and how it now is around the shape of a circle. So there's one example there. Here's another example. So one of the things I wanted to show you about this hat here that says beach life on it is the spacing of the straw is a lot wider than the one here on the right that says hello sunshine. And one of the things to be aware of with that is because it is wider, it could cause issues with the font going thinner in some areas, because where these holes are here is going to not be a good support for the stitching. And so with hats that have space and holes like this, you're going to want to try it out first and do a test stitch to see how it works out. Now, this font was the one that was in the Dimes PEP software, and I just took that directly from the software and stitched it out. And so it doesn't look horrible. It looks pretty good. It's a nice thick font, and I think it did a really nice job. But that's one thing I just wanted to talk about, was the differences in the spacing of some of the straw. Okay. And now we have, I just wanted to show you two more examples as well. So, one of the things that's awesome for a bride is to put her new marriage name on there. And that is something that is very popular. And I love this one. This is one I just pulled out of my software. I don't have this one on my website, but I will be having it soon. This one is called Magnolia Sky. So stay tuned for this one. This one's called Magnolia Sky, and I will be having that. But see, reason why I wanted to do this one was to show you how this one has some thinner parts of the lettering. The lines here are a little bit thinner. And so you want to look at that and think, is that going to be an issue? Is that going to be a problem? I don't mind it. I think it looks fine. But just to be aware that if you have a font like this, that would technically be kind of like a brush lettering that is done with like a brush pen and kind of calligraphy in a way, that there may be some thinner areas. So one of the things you're going to want to try to do is try to find the correct font that works for you. I love this font and I think it looks great. I think it turned out really well, so I'm pretty happy with it. But again, it is a personal preference and a personal choice on how you want it to look. And now this last one here, I made for my dear mother. Brave Hearts is a camp that happens every year. It's an oncology camp for breast cancer survivors. And my mom is a breast cancer survivor of 27 years. So every summer she goes to the camp and she hangs out with all of her friends. She is 83. She's 84. And she goes every summer to hang out with her friends at this camp, and it is a strong support for her. And so she wanted a hat that said Brave Hearts. This is another font that I will be loading to the website. I chose this one on purpose because it is very thick, and I wanted to see how it worked on the machine. And that I find the thicker fonts sometimes work, but then there's also issues sometimes that can happen, if you can see, where the seams are or the edges of the hat can sometimes cause separation of the stitching. So that's one thing to be aware of when stitching on the straw hats. You could get some of these areas here. One thing you could do is you could take a Sharpie and just kind of draw over that and try to fill in those areas. So that's something to be aware of with the straw. There may be some separation. In all of these, I did use the water-soluble stabilizer on top. So let me see if there's any questions right quick here so I can continue on. Is it Ardith what one were you asking about? What font were you asking about? This one here is called, I think it's called Magic Sky. It's not on my website yet. I will be having it soon. This one here is called Magnolia Sky, and I will be having that one soon as well. This one is called, it's out of the Dime software. Let me look really quickly to see if I can find what it's called. Keep those questions coming if you have questions, you want to know anything else. And we're going to get into the supplies really quickly in a moment here. This one, I'm looking up the name of the font for this. It's a very popular one. It's like, I don't want to say the wrong thing. Oh, does anybody out there have the Dime software and knows what this one's called? I forgot to save it, so I just essentially put it in the software. Oh, it's called Giddy Up. Giddy Up, yes, Giddy Up. So that is Giddy Up, and it's in the Dime software. And then this one here is the AMELIA font, and this one is on my website right now. So thank you, Nancy. I love the AMELIA font too. It is beautiful. Thanks, Joanne, for taking notes on the fonts that I recommend. One of the things that I did want to mention as well is I know that the floss stitch fonts or the running stitch fonts or the bean stitch fonts are very popular, but I'm not so sure I would do it on a beach hat. As you can see here, this hat with the Magnolia Sky, this is a satin stitch. It's a thin satin stitch, but it is not a running stitch. And so I'm not so sure that would work very well on these hats. So you might want to consider if you wanted to try something with a bean stitch or a running stitch or a floss stitch, that it might not stand out very well. Scarlett, would it happen with the narrower fonts? Well, so let's see here. There's some narrow areas here, and it does seem like it didn't separate as much, but it did cause it to shift over a little bit. And it's just really challenging sometimes stitching over this stuff. You know, it is straw, and it's something that your needle can definitely go through. As you can see, I did just 4 samples here, but you're going to want to check out to make sure what font you want to choose would work the best. All right. Donna likes that. She said that's her favorite font, nice and chunky. I think she's talking about this one here, right there. Ardith was talking about the first one. That is AMELIA. The one that's Hello Sunshine, that's AMELIA, and that is on my website right now. So I kind of like this one. To go back to the question about with the thinner fonts, is there separation? You can see right there, there's not much on that, right? I feel like the thicker one, the Magnolia Sky, had more issues than this one. All righty, so let me see what else. Love the Sharpie tip. Yes, so before I gave you that tip, I wanted to make sure it worked, and I did it on this one. And there were quite a lot of separations around the areas of the edges of the straw. And so I went and filled in a lot of them, and you can see, I think it looks a lot smoother. So some of it's not stitching, but shh, don't tell anyone. All right, let's see what else we've got going on here. The Braveheart fonts is beautiful. And even though some of the fonts may have some separation, I doubt anyone is going to get that close to see it. Yes, if somebody is staring at your hat that closely, I think there might be larger issues than just looking at the spacing and the stitching, or maybe they really love you a lot. Who knows? All right. What mat has that grid box? This mat is, oh geez, I don't even know the name. I can't even see the name of it right now. I I'm not sure, to be honest. I bought it off of Amazon a while ago. It was hard to find a pink one, but I needed a pink one. So thank you, Sue. Love the 2 fonts coming to your site. Thank you very much. I'm excited about them. And I will post the list of the fonts that I'm discussing. Yes, and I will put that on my Facebook page and in the Facebook fan group, the fonts that I'm talking about here. But as I mentioned, 2 of them aren't available yet because I wanted to try them out on the hats first to see how they look. All right. Sharpies are great. Yes, they are, Tambra. I agree with you. Yes, and sometimes the stitching on a towel can also cause separation as well with the issues with the terry cloth or the high loft in the nap of the towel, and so sometimes you may need to do that as well. Would you do both sides with the Sharpie? So Donna, to answer that question, so this Beach Life hat, I did black on the top, but on the bottom, I didn't spend time tearing this out here, but on the bottom, I used a white bobbin. So that shows up less, and that may be the choice, the preference you want. On the Hello Sunshine, I also used a white bobbin. So one of the things that you'll want to consider with this is I'd show you something here. So with the Hello Sunshine, I used a white bobbin thread, and I did it so that the bow is this way, and so it will look like this when you wear it. But around the side, if you wear it up high, you're going to see the white there. If you're sitting with it lower, then you might not see it so much. And if it's in the back, whoops, that's the front. If it's in the back, you're not going to see it as much as either. So that is a consideration. You might want to. So with the lighter hat here, the Beach Life, you can see the stabilizer, but the white doesn't show up as much. If you're doing a tan hat like this and you don't want it to show up as much, you might consider using a tan colored embroidery thread in your bobbin. That way it's not going to show up as much. You'll still see a little bit, but not as much. On these 2, I used a black bobbin. So you can definitely see it there. And that this one I didn't finish cleaning it up, but that's the stabilizer I can pick out. All right, so that's considerations to be aware of for that. Joanne, I have not done an applique yet on a hat, but I think that would be super fun and a great idea to do the Farmhouse Lemonade. I love the Farmhouse Lemonade letters as well. Can you use an iron away maybe, or would not be thick enough? Okay, so Ardith, that's a really good idea. The other one also is to use a stick and wash away. And so we will talk about that in a minute. And if I need a color of thread in the bobbin to match my top, I will wind my own bobbins with the top thread. Ironing black bobbin. The black bobbin looks nice. Thank you, Patricia. Ironing cover over the underneath stitches might make it look better. Yeah, I think the thing that I would recommend, and I didn't think to try this until you all brought it up, was to use a matching thread to the hat in the bobbin, not to the top thread, because I used black in some and white in others. All right. All right, so now let's go back to the mat and let's talk about some supplies that we're going to need here. Okay, so for starters, we are going to need a hat. This hat is a bit smaller than the ones that the other hats I did. And the reason why I'm using the smaller hat today is because I'm using the 5x7 hoop. The other ones I used my regular 6x10 hoop and put some sticky stabilizer in it. But today we're using this one from Durkee, and this is the single needle easy frame. And there's no part of it. This is the whole hoop here. There's no top, there's no inset. So with this, you use sticky stabilizer. Or you can use clamps to clamp on stabilizer. But today we're going to use the sticky stabilizer with the hat in particular, makes it a lot easier. Stabilizers. So you can use, like I mentioned, the stick and wash away. So this is Pellon 542, and it is just like any normal sticky stabilizer. So you would stick this onto the bottom of the hoop like that. And this is the piece I used already, but we'll show you how to do it. You just essentially sticky side up and stick it onto the hoop like that, and then the hat goes right on top of that. So that way you can stitch, you can stick the hat on there, stitch the hat, and then use some water to melt, to get the stabilizer to dissolve. So there's an option there if you don't like sticky stabilizer on your item. Get this on the right way. I don't know about you all, but I save all the little bits and pieces of stabilizer because it's expensive, right? So there's an option, this stick and wash away, Pellon 542. Or you can just use regular tearaway sticky. That's what I've been using on the hats, and I think I like it. It's fine. And then you're going to need your wash away topper, right? Not the heavy duty one. These hats, because there's a lot of movement and there's a lot of parts of the hat that are not on the stabilizer when you're actually stitching it, this is hitting up against the side of the machine. And so you want to have something that has stability. And so the like the Super Solvy, the thicker water soluble stabilizer, is going to be hard to secure the hat to it. So that's why I strongly suggest the sticky stabilizer. The wash away sticky is great. And as someone mentioned earlier, using the what do you call it? The iron away would be cool too. All right, so those are the stabilizers we're talking about today. And the hoop, let's talk about a few other items that we're going to need as well. So some pins are great to have. I like these little owls like this to sometimes get out some of the water soluble stabilizer on top. Painter's tape, use that to tape the bow out of the way. So if you have a bow already on the hat, you can move that and tape it out of the way. A ruler. Today we're going to use a measuring tape because it's bigger than my ruler. A Sharpie, as we talked about earlier. This is called a seam fix, and it's a seam ripper. I am not using it, though, as a seam ripper. I am using the rubber ends of it to take out the water-soluble stabilizer. I'll show you that later. You're going to want a 90-14 needle, okay? I started out because I do everything with the 75-11 needle, and this it broke, so I went to a 90-14. So you're going to want to make sure you have a 90-14 sharp or universal. A rotary cutter to cut your stabilizer. This one is from Famore Cutlery. Absolutely amazing, ingenious rotary cutter. This is like no other. It has ball bearings inside of it. If you're a quilter or someone who cuts a lot of fabric, uses a rotary cutter a lot, you really need to check out this rotary cutter because it saves your hands so much. It's amazing. And if you go to the Famore website and you use the code when you're checking out the word creative, you can receive a discount. I think it's 10%, but their products are amazing. And I have these little snips that I love because it's got a little hook there that actually helps to get under the thread and hook it and then snip. So these are also from Famore Cutlery as well. And then a marking pen. This is wash away to mark the center of your hat if you wish. The owl to help pick out some of the water-soluble stabilizer. And you're going to want to print your template. So today we're going to do the word bride. And this is just paper, but you can also, if you're doing a lot of these and you do this for a business and you're doing bride a lot, you can use this print and stick target paper, which is amazing. It is clear when it prints out. Let me show you. This is the one I have from when we did the curved neckline, but you print it out and you can use it over and over and over again. And so it's really amazing, but it is clear so that when you stick it on wherever you need to put it, you can see underneath it where you're placing the item. So that's one thing I love about the print and stick target paper. But I use it when I have to do multiples of the same design. All right. Questions. No, Ronnie, you did not miss it. You're here. Joanne asked about my stabilizer wraps. Yes, this is a design I have for sale on my website, and these are done all in the hoop. There are 26 different files, I think, with words on them, but then you can also purchase the font separately. This is the basic font, and you can make your own because there's a blank one in the file. So these are, they end up, they fit in the 6x10 hoop because these are 10 inches long, and they fit in the 6x10 hoop. So they work with rolls of stabilizer that are probably 3 inches or less. I have one coming out in the next week or so that will fit in the 12-inch hoop. So the 7x12 or the 8x12 hoop. And they are longer and bigger and will fit the larger rolls. Let me grab one really quick to show you. So these are the ones that are the 10-inch that fit, that are for sale right now. The 12-inch ones you can see are longer, much longer, and will go around the larger rolls of stabilizer. Now, if you're getting a 25-yard roll, it might not fit around those. But the best way to tell, get a measuring tape and measure around the circumference of your stabilizer to see how big it is, and then see if they will work. It's not going to work on all of them. It's not going to work on a 100-yard roll of stabilizer. But as the stabilizer gets smaller, they will work. So, and these are slat bands that just go around and help you to keep them all rolled up nicely. And then, but it also has the words on them. So when you have it in a drawer or somewhere, you can know which ones they are, because after a while, there's a lot of stabilizers that we have, right? So Tambra loves the Target paper. I love that Target paper too. And what was the brand of the rotary cutter? Okay, let me see if I can find the link. It's called Famore, F as in Frank, A-M-O-R-E. And Famore Cutlery. Here we go. I'm going to post the link here. He has the most amazing scissors, and the rotary cutter is, no pun intended, cutting edge, because it does have ball bearings inside of it, and it's just the smoothest action when you're using it, and it really cuts down a lot on hand fatigue. And so when you go to his website, just go to Famore Cutlery, F-A-M-O-R-E Cutlery, but make sure when you check out you use the code creative, because that way you will receive a discount on whatever you buy. If you're just stitching a monogram, would placement also go on the side? Brenda, that is a personal choice. Some people want it at, so here's the back. You don't want to put it here where the bow is, but sometimes people wear the bow on the side. So you could do the monogram on here, which this would be around the neck. Some people wear the bow in the back, so they would want to have the monogram on the top here. It's really a personal preference, and so you're going to want to ask the person who you're stitching for where they would like it. If it's a gift, then just guess what you think that they might like the best. Let me see any other questions here. If I have not clear on how to use the target paper. So the target paper is essentially when you go and have in your software the design in your software and you print out your template, you would use that print and stick target paper in your regular printer. So instead of using a piece of paper like this, you will take the print and stick target paper and you will run this through your printer and with the clear side up, and it prints right on this just like any regular paper. And then you cut out the shape and then you have the sticky to put on the area. So let me grab the link for that for you. All right, so here's some links to, okay, here's the print and stick target paper. That's the print and stick target paper, and it's clear. So they used to have it that it was kind of like white or whatever, but it's clear. And the thing that's awesome about it is because it is sticky, when you put it on the item that you are putting into the machine, you can see where it lines up exactly. And it also helps you to hoop as well. Let me see. What else? Let me see. So here's some stabilizer. Here's adhesive sew and wash. That's awesome. There's that. Yes, Joanne, this is the new dime target paper that is clear. This looks like this because it was used on a black sweatshirt multiple times, but that's, yes, it is amazing. It sticks so well. It's great if you guys do edge to edge hooping or edge to edge quilting in your embroidery machine. And it is amazing for using that on the exact placement on your quilt. Is it tape measure inside the wraps for the stabilizer? Yes, it is. Let me show you. So I cut one of them apart because I wanted to see what was inside of it, but it's essentially 1 inch, but you have to get it so that it wraps around like that. If you wanted to make your own, you can. The problem is, though, with the way the files are done and it's curved around, you want to make sure that you trim around a curve and you have the correct length so that it's not an issue. Where do you get the snap bands to make the wraps? I buy them from Amazon, and I have, let's see if I have my Amazon store link here. I wasn't planning on talking about this today, but I am happy to share this information with you. I'm hoping to do a video in the next week or so talking about the different sizes of them. Yes, so Joanne says, even with the Luminaire projector, so the machine we have has a camera on it that projects, and she still uses a template, and she's the Brother brand ambassador, and I do too. So yeah, Donna, I posted the link for the snap bands to make the wraps, and it is also in the information. So when you purchase the file from my website, I do have the link in there in the PDF instructions so that it's all there. But if you have a problem finding them, just send me an email through the website and I'll be happy to get the information to you on which ones I used. Okay, so now let's go to talking about the software. So first we're going to start in Embrilliance and go over how to get the correct placement.
Embrilliance, and I'm going to come up to this cog here and click on that. And I'm going to come to Applique Shapes, and I'm going to choose the Applique Circle, and I'm going to click OK. You can see I have the hoop here showing on the screen. Today I'm using the 5x7 hoop, and so that is the one I have selected. So from the measurements we have from the hat, we know the diameter of the width of the hat is 15 inches. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to right click on it and convert to stitches. And once I do that, it separates all the pieces over here in the right hand side. So I'm going to select the bottom part, which is the applique satin stitch, and I'm going to delete that. Then I'm going to select the second part here, which says applique material, and I'm going to delete that. So now I'm just left with this circle, and this is going to be essentially the diameter of my hat. So I'm going to come up here to the top left, and I'm going to change it to 15 inches. Now, this is going to be well outside of the hoop. That's not the problem. It's not the issue. We are just simply getting a template, an idea of where we are going to place the lettering around. So this is just a guide that we will then delete. Okay, so now I have this 15-inch circle, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to, up on the left here, I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it. And that is simply because I need another circle for the inside part of the brim, which is the outside part of the actual hat that sits on the head. So I'm going to come up to the left here, and I'm going to type in 7 inches, and I'm going to click OK. So now we can see here, in this top toolbar here, that it's in the center. So this is essentially the hat part, this is the brim part. So when we measured the brim itself, it was the distance between the two circles was 4 inches. So again, I'm going to come up here to the cog, click on that, go to Applique Shapes, and I'm going to click on the square, and I'm going to click OK. Again, I'm going to right click on it and convert it to stitches because I want it to become separate steps. So I'm going to click on the drop down over here on the right, select the applique part, which is a satin stitch, delete that, select the applique material part and delete that. Now I'm left with just the square. I'm going to come up to the top left here, and I'm going to click on the lock. I want to unlock it because what I want for the width is I want it to be 15 inches so it matches the diameter of the hat. And I'm going to, in the bottom square here, I'm going to put 4 inches. So now this is the brim that we have. So now I'm going to select all 3 pieces, left click, hold down and drag and select all 3 pieces. And I'm going to click on the centering part. So I want them all to be centered horizontally, and I want to click apply. And there I have the centering of where I'm going to put the stitching, and I'm going to click on close. Now I'm going to move it all up so it is within the hoop. So I'm going to put the bottom of the rectangle about where the edge of the hoop is, and I'm just simply doing this for my own visual. So up here I'm going to click, this is the left right axis centering, and I'm click on 0 to center it. Now that you can see all of the pieces are gray, dark gray over here, meaning all of them are selected, and I'm going to click on the lock button. That way they're all locked, and right now they're not going to move. And I don't want them moving at this point in time because I want them all in one to stay where they are while I'm dealing with the letters. So now I'm going to click on the A, and it's going to say ABC. So I'm going to type in the word Bride, B-R-I-D-E, and click enter. Now I'm going to come down and I'm going to select the font I want, which is the AMELIA font, and I'm going to try for about 3 inches and see what that looks like. I think that might be pretty good, but we will see in a minute. So now you can see it is in a straight line, and we can adjust this spacing by adjusting the slider over here on the right hand side. So I'm going to adjust the slider so that it brings it all together and looks like it is cursive. Now right here, this is not exactly correct, so I can adjust it individually. But the thing to note is, since I'm going to be putting it on the curve, if I adjust all the letters now to be the position where I want them to be that look visually correct, once I put it around the circle, it's going to shift it and change it. So I'm not going to bother with messing with that right now. So over here, you can see there are 3 parts right here. The one on the left is to write multi-line text. The one that is selected in gray right now is a single line text. And then there's a circle. So we want to put text on a circle. So I'm going to click on that. And I need to place it on the bottom. So I want it to be around the bottom of the curve of the circle. So now I am going to reset the spacing by simply clicking this circle arrow, and it adjusts it to where the spacing needs to be. And actually, I think I'm going to go down to 2.5 inches in the size. That way it's going to fit better in my hoop, and it is also going to not be so close up here to the hat itself. You do want to have some distance between the bottom of the lettering and the edge of the brim. So let's adjust the spacing again, and I still think it's a little too tight, so I'm going to click on the green here, the green square, and drag that. So now I think that that looks pretty good. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click on the center of it. That way it's centered in the hoop, and I can deal with adjusting the radius a little more by playing with the slider here on the right hand side, the radius slider, so that will tighten it up or straighten it out. So this is visual. This is something that it's going to be by preference and something that you are going to want to play with to see what you like, how you think it looks best for you. And you can adjust the height, the letters like up and down if you don't like, you know, how it's the bottom curve here of the D is. You can move it up, and so you can play with it to your liking and get it to where you want it to be. But now that we have the word, we are going to come over here on the right hand side, and we're going to click on the open lock button. And so I'm going to click on that because I want to unlock all of the the circles and the squares. So actually I'm going to left click on one, hold my shift key, and click on all 3 so they're all highlighted, and I'm going to unlock them. That way they are now unlocked, and I could select each one individually, and I can delete, and that way now they're all gone. They're not going to be there, because if you save those circles and the rectangle with your word, it's going to tell you when you get to the machine that it's too big for the hoop. It's not going to fit in the hoop. So we need to make sure that we remember to delete those. So now I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click on Save. And actually I'm going to click on File, Save As, Stitch and Working, because if you're doing a multiples of these, one of the things that you're going to want to do is make sure that you have the working file, which will be the BE file, And once you have the BE file, you can just open that and play with it all you want. So now I have the word bride, and I'm actually going to click on this little cross here and center it in the hoop, and then I'm going to save it one more time, and that way now we can send it to the machine to stitch.
Okay, so one of the things I forgot to mention before I turned on the video was how do we know how big to make those circles? So we need to measure. And with this hat on the line here, this line right here is 10 inches, and this line over on this side is 25. So that's 15 inches. So the diameter of this hat is 15 inches all the way around the perimeter of it. The inside of it is what we created inside, which I think it was 7 inches might have been. I did all this measuring, but that's what the big circle was for. The small circle is for the inside of the hat, the part that goes on the head. And then the reason we do that rectangle is, turn it around this way so it's easier to see. The reason why we do the rectangle is this is the area we actually really want to stitch. So we want to make sure that this area is the area that we are putting the actual size of the stitching in and the words and doing the curvature. So Kathy said that video was extremely useful. Excellent. I'm glad that it's helpful. So now I'm going to, let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to put on the video for the Dime PEP software to show you in another software. So with the Embrilliance, I don't have the level of the software that I can bring in a photo. I think that's Stitch Artist, one of the levels of Stitch Artist. I don't have that, but I wanted to show you that you can do this in software that does not allow you to import a photo. So now we'll go into the Dime software that does show you how to bring a photo in, and you can see that one.
Here I am in Dime's Perfect Embroidery Pro, or PEP software. And in this software, I can bring in a photo. So I'm coming over here on the left-hand side with this little image icon, and I'm going to click on it. When I click on it, it takes me to my desktop, and I'm going to click on Straw Hat and open it. Now you can see here that I have it sitting photographed on my cutting mat, and the cutting mat shows that the diameter of the brim is 15 inches. But here in the software you can see it's 5 inches and 5 inches. So it's really showing only about 10 inches, and you can see over here in the width it's 9.8. It's about 10 by 9. So with that is not as big as the brim is of the hat, and so we need to scale the image to the correct proportions. So under the image here there's a little right pointing arrow. I'm going to click on that, and we need to define scale. So click on define scale, and you can see now that there's this little plus icon. So I'm going to click on the 7, left click on it and hold it down and drag it over to the right hand side, and I'm going to let go, and now it says requested length. You can see it's 9.6. I'm going to change it to 15 and click OK. So now you can see it is much bigger, and the ratio of the photo is 17.12, but that's because I have this extra parts on the side showing of the photo. So now we want to adjust the lightness so it's not so bright. So I'm going to take this slider over here to about 50% and click apply. And that way I can see better what I'm going to be creating. Okay, and so now I'm going to click on view the hoop. All right, and I have right now the 5x7 selected, but I want to rotate it 90 degrees and click apply and OK. So now I'm going to click on the photo, and over here at the very bottom, if I click on that and then click on the image here, I'm going to move this up to where it's going to fit within the hoop. And then that way, now I have it setting inside the hoop so that we can see exactly where we want the hat and where we are going to be stitching. So now that we have the photo of the hat, now we're going to come up to the very left side here, the T, and click on the T. And then you can see the pointer now has a little A next to it. And when I left click inside onto the screen, a letter is going to pop up. And that is a font that I was using. So now in the box over here on the right, I'm going to type the word bride on my computer keyboard. And then I'm going to click apply. And now you can see I have the word bride here, but it is in a straight line. So under the word type here, it says normal. If you click on that drop down arrow, you can see the options for different types of positioning. So I'm going to click on circle, and then I'm going to come over here and have it done in reverse direction. So I'm going to click on that, put a check mark in the box, and click on apply. And that way now you can see it's on a circle, but it's on the bottom side of the circle, and that's what we want. So now I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And I think what I want to do is I want to make the letters larger. So if I click on the arrow here on the left side, you can see it gets rid of that circle and it now has a rectangle around the letters. So I'm going to click on one of the arrows in the corner and I'm going to drag it to make it larger. So that way now the letters are larger to be a bit better for fitting in my hoop and on this part of the hat. I'm going to left click now on the magnifying glass, and I'm going to left click and hold and drag around to zoom in on it. So now if you see, we have the word bride, but it's not really going around the shape of the hat, and the spacing is all spaced out, and so it's not exactly what I want it to be. So now we get to play around with the letters, but when you have the arrow selected, all you have is a rectangle. That's not allowing you to play with the spacing and shape of the letter. So we need to click back on the T. And when we click back on the T, you can see now we have our circles back, and now we can play with the parts of the letters that we need. And so here on the left side, there's this green circle. I'm going to left click and drag on that, and you can see it makes a bit of an oval. Now what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the outside oval that is meeting up with and kind of mimicking the shape of the straw as it goes in a circle. So I let go of it, and now you can see how it's better movement and better positioned, around the shape of the hat. So I'm going to click on the arrow, and I'm just going to move it because I want to get it back to a position where it's more inside the hoop and around the shape of the hat. So now back to the T, click on the T again, and if you can see inside each letter there's a black diamond. Those black diamonds allow you to position the letters and move them around to where you want them to be. So when you left click on it and hold it, you can drag where you want the letters to be positioned. So now I'm dragging it. And the thing to be aware of is that it doesn't only let you move it left and right along the curve of the hat, it allows you to move it up if you want, or move it around. And so that's one thing to be aware of when you're moving it. It's not just glued to the circle part of the shape. So just to be aware of that when you're moving the letters, that it does move it around. So now when you click on that black diamond in the center, a purple square goes around the letter, and in the top right and bottom left corner there are these circles, which means you can rotate the letter. So I think because this font is italicized, it makes the B lay down too much in my visuals. So I'm going to click on that top right arrow and rotate the letter slightly around so it's not so curved and that it is a bit more upright. So now, if you look at that, I am going to, you can see how the bottom part of the letter are following along that seam line of the straw in the hat. And that is just, I'm using that as a visual. It doesn't necessarily need to stitch right there. We can move it so that it stitches inside part of it. That, we'll deal with that when we get to the machine. But one thing I wanted to show you here is I feel like it still needs to be rotated a little bit. So I'm now on the arrow. The arrow is highlighted, which now gives a box around the letters, and I'm going to click on the top right arrow and I'm going to rotate it slightly. So this is one of the reasons too why you want to print out your template, so that when you have the actual design, you can see exactly where it's going to stitch on your hat. So now let's zoom out and let's see how we have it positioned right there, and you can center it in the hoop. If you come up to the toolbar and right click on it, you can say center origin, and it centers it in the hoop there. And you can click off to just look at the actual visuals of the word. So that is how in PEP you can create the wording around the shape of the hat and get it to be curved how you want it to be.
Okay, so what do you think about that? I'm glad, Delia, I hope I said your name correctly. I'm glad to know that some of you out there use PEP. I wanted to show you how you can add if your software allows you to add or bring in a photo, how you can do it by bringing in a photo. But in Embrilliance, I have the level of Embrilliance I have is Essentials. No, Enthusiast. So I have the second level. Yeah, Essentials is the first level, Enthusiast is the second level. So that's the level I have. All right. So the name of the hoop I'm using, someone asked, is a Durkee Easy Frame for single needles. And I'm using the 5x7 today. This has no top or no top to it, and it's not magnetic either. So if you are interested in purchasing this hoop or any hoop from Durkee, make sure you use the code DAWN at checkout, because then you will receive a nice discount from them for your purchase. They also have these for multi-needle machines. Let me get you that link. So if you have a multi-needle machine and you want these frames, I have a multi-needle machine and I have used these frames on my multi-needle machine. They are amazing. They are very lightweight. They're very sturdy. You can't bend them in any way. There is no flopping or bouncing around when you're stitching on the multi-needle machine. They're absolutely remarkable. I have a video on my YouTube channel you can go watch about the comparison of these single needle easy frames from Durkee and the other fast frames or what have you. All right, so now to actually stitching the project. Let me know if there's any other questions that you have. I saw Marcia, I'm not sure what software you're referring to. I'm not sure if you can use the arrows to nudge the separate letters. You might be able to, but to me, it's just easy to use the mouse to click on the boxes inside the letters and move them. Yes, Anita, this is being recorded. You can rewatch it. All of the videos are recorded. So yes, you will be able to rewatch it. And make sure, yes, in PEP, So I hope I'm saying your name. If it's Marcia or Marcia, I apologize if I'm saying it incorrectly. In PEP, you might be able to do that on a Windows. I am using a Mac. And so by using those arrow keys, I haven't been able to do that. So you might be able to. Does anybody know, anybody out there have PEP and know if you can use the arrow keys to move the letters? All right. So we have our hoop here. I'm going to turn it over to the back. We have the sticky. This is sticky tearaway that I have. You can use sticky iron off. I think that would work fine on the hat. I can't foresee any problem, but you can also use adhesive. Whoops. You can also use adhesive wash away. Adhesive wash away. And I posted a link up there for some dime stabilizer that's adhesive and wash away. With this jerky hoop, yes, I am using sticky back stabilizer with this jerky hoop because there's no way to attach the stabilizer. So this is for sticky stabilizer. You can also get some clamps and use clamps with it to clamp down stabilizer if you wish. But being that the hat will be touching the machine and will have areas that are, I need the extra stability of the sticky. So that's why I'm using the sticky. All right, so now we have the sticky side up here. And this is the way the hoop is going to go and attach to the machine. So I use some painter's tape to tape the bow out of the way. And I'm just trying to see which way I'm putting this on here. So I'm going to flip it around so it's not upside down. And all right, so I want the design to be like this. Okay, so this is going to be the back of the hat here. And so I want the design to be on the side here. And because of that, now I'm going to do a 180 because I need the top of the hat, this part of the hat, to be over here, which is going to be around the arm and the pantograph. I don't want this part to try to be smashed underneath the part of the machine. So this, I want to have it to be on the left-hand side with the part that attaches, the hoop that attaches to the arm. So I want to make sure, and that's why the template helps, because to get the visual of exactly where you want the design to be. So I'm going to mark it. So I'm going to get my pin and I'm going to put it in the center of this here, and then do my little blue dot right there. That's the center. So I know where I want that to be. All right. And so now on all jerky hoops, they have these amazing cutout areas here to show you the exact center of the hoop and where it needs to go. And so now we have this blue dot here. You see that? And that I'm going to put pretty much, try to get that in the center of all the things. All right. Just like so. And now I take the wash away stabilizer and put that on there. And get my pins. And I usually just use 2 pins because we've got it sticking. Got some of the stabilizer here sticking to the sticky stabilizer, which is good. I like that. Now, this hat is one of those packable, foldable, rollable hats. And so it's going to be able to collapse really easily. So all I do is 2 pins like that. But this hat, then I just smush it down like this. And this way it's going to be easier to get it underneath the machine. So let me go now, switch to the machine. Keep those questions coming if you've got any. Let me see about how I can see, if I can zoom this, move this out a little bit so you can see where the hat's going to be sitting here. All right, so I have the part here on this left side, right? It's going to slide onto the machine, but I'm kind of folding the hat onto the stabilizer a little bit because sometimes it can get kind of, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on, right? So smushing it down. Now on my machine over on the side here, I have the design loaded. I have the design loaded on my machine, and I rotated it. So I'll show you with this. So I have it rotated so the design is like this. So when it came onto the machine, it was like this. And because we need the hat, the head part of the hat on the left side, I rotated the design to be like this. And now, because this is all centered, it looks like that's a good positioning for it. So I'm just going to press go. And I have the black bobbin loaded into the machine because you all, with your wonderful questions, asking me what about matching the underside, I didn't think to use the tan. So that is something you could definitely do. Using tan bobbin underneath would be good. So 2 points to remember here that I want you to, if you're taking notes, write these in all capital letters, get your highlighter out and highlight them. 2 very important points. A 90-14 needle, 90-14 sharp needle, and slow your machine down. Slow your machine down, okay? This design is 6,300 stitches. I have it slowed down to 500 stitches per minute, and this thing is going to take, it says, 13 minutes to stitch. So once you get it all on the hoop, which doesn't take long because there's really not a whole lot of marking, you know, it's not like doing a shirt where you have so much to make sure that it's you know, straight and centered and all of that. Once you've set it all up in the software correctly, you're not going to have too much extra to do once you get it on the machine. So let me see here what other questions we've got going on. So Janice said she made her own sticky hoop. That's great. That's a very cool idea. Jeannie said she can't wait to try this. Let me know if you have questions because we've got a few minutes here while we'll wait for this to watch this stitch before we clean it up. And so let me know if you've got some questions or things that I can help answer. And if there were questions I didn't get to before, let me know. Joanne wants to know, does anybody know if there's any curved, long, strong, straight pins similar to Quilter's curved safety pins or something like that? That would be a really awesome idea. Actually, you probably could just use your regular curved Quilter's safety pins on something like this. It probably would be easier. Note to self. Thank you, Ronnie. I'm going to leave this up here. Notes to self. 90-14 needle, sharp point, 90-14 needle. Slow down your machine. That will be very helpful with stitching this. Yes, Mirtis, the dime sticky hoop will also work as well. The dime sticky hoop will also work as well. But just wanted to let you know that dime is did you all enter the giveaway? Make sure you enter the giveaway, #creative. You want to make sure you enter. You only need to type it in once, because once you type it in, you will be entered. So sure you put #creative, no spaces, no applique, no appliques, just #creative, no space. Marina, do I happen to know if the Durkee Easy Frame will fit a Brother PE 2000? I do not know, but Durkee is amazing. They're very responsive. They usually ship out within a day. So you send them an email, they will get back to you. They are an amazing company. So they will, I'm sure they will answer it, but I posted links earlier. So they do have these for multi-needle machines and single needle machines. Yes, Brenta, if you could use my links, that would be awesome. Yeah, you have the older version of the print and stick. The print and stick, the new stuff that's transparent is wonderful, because you can actually see what you're putting it on. And if you're, doing something else where you have to fussy stitch in a specific area, then it really is helpful. When will I be listing the new fonts? Within a week or two, Nancy. I will be getting to them this week, and hopefully within this week, and if not, by next week. Yes, the Magnolia Sky and the, I think it's Magic Sky, maybe. Yes, you are very welcome, Marina. You are welcome. Get at #creative. Tambra's excited to try this. When you do try this, please join me in my Facebook group and post photos of your projects. Every month we give away $20 credit to the website there to a lucky winner as well, just by simply posting your projects and your photos of the things that you have created using our fonts and our designs. So it's another opportunity to win more money. All right, so let me see here. I had a few questions that I saved, or comments. Mary Ellen said she's trying to learn Embrilliance, and that was great. Excellent. I'm glad, Mary Ellen. Thank you so much for being here and joining. I'm glad it was helpful. What is the name of the hoop I'm using? It's the Durkee Easy Frame single needle. And when you purchase from them, use the code Dawn at checkout to receive a nice discount on your purchase. All right. I love this, Carolyn. If you can't see the stitching separations while driving at 60 miles per hour, it's all good. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Yes, Pam, this is being recorded. You will be able to rewatch this video. It will be on my Facebook and also on my YouTube channel. It's probably easiest to find it under my YouTube channel. Oh, excellent. Hi, Danielle. Thank you so much for joining me. She works for Durkee. She's my point of contact, and she is absolutely amazing. Thank you for being here, Danielle. She says the Durkee 5x7 single needle easy frame will work on the Brother SE 2000. Thank you, Danielle, so much for chiming in and letting us know that. But see, there you go. They're here watching the video right now and commenting to let you know about what frames they have. So thank you, Danielle. Any other questions for me? We've got a few more minutes of stitching before we can clean it up. Stephanie, that'd be awesome to make these for your lake friends. You can put on there. There's so many sayings I had that I couldn't decide what to put on them, but yet lake life, water life, salt life, beach life, aloha beaches, hello beaches, all the things. Salt and sand, sandy life, salty beaches, so many different fun sayings you can put on these that, and then people's names, right? Yeah, Kathy, you could use the sew type magnets in place of the pins. So instead of putting pins on, you can use the sew type magnets for in place of the pins. That's how I would use those. The code for jerky, Dawn, my name, Dawn, DAWN, that's the code. Code is Dawn. This font, Myrtis, beach hair don't care. Yes, Joanne, I love that. Beach hair don't care. Put it all the way around the brim. What is this font? This font is the AMELIA font. And let me get the link for that for you. It is the AMELIA font. That's the one that we're using right here. When I was in the Dime software, I just used one of the installed fonts that were in their software. When I was in Embrilliance, I used my font, which this one's the AMELIA one. Beach hair don't care. Yep, these will be fun gifts. They are. And the thing that I love about them is that they are collapsible and they can be thrown in a bag. They can be thrown, in a suitcase. They're very lightweight. Let me give you the straw hats. So this first one I'm going to put here is this is the small brim that I'm using right now, which is not that small. I mean, it's still like 4.5 inches, but that's the hat I'm stitching on right now in the 5x7 hoop. And then the larger brim hats, these are the ones that I showed at the beginning of the video. They are, let me measure them for you to see what length those brims are. Okay. It's a little closer to 5 inches. So the larger ones are about 5 inches. This smaller brim hat is about 4.5. Let's see. Grace, are you asking about the what machine do you have? Is it a Brother that you have for? Are you asking about the hoops? If you let us know what machine it is, Danielle can let you know. Yes, Myrtis, all of my fonts come in the BX format for use with Embrilliance. All of them come in the BX format. Yep. I'm just going to watch this for a minute because it looks like some of the hat's a little bit tilted up. And let me see. That's awesome. Awesome, Tambra. I would love to see them. Come share your photos in my Facebook group. Let me see if I have the link for that. So you can join the Facebook group so that you can share. Yeah, it's just, if you go to my Facebook page, which is Creative Appliques, you can find the link there for my group. Actually, let me grab it for you really quick. I will get the link for you. It's Creative Appliques Embroidery Fans is the actual name of the Facebook group. Join us over there, share your photos of your projects, and you can win $20 every month towards the website. Can a regular embroidery design stitch out okay? I don't think you would have too much of a problem. I would, give it a try. These hats are relatively inexpensive, about 10, sometimes $9, $10, $11. So give it a try. and see. All right, let's get back to the table. We are finished stitching. Take out the pins. Rip away the stabilizer. Actually, I'm gonna, where's my snip? Here they are. All right. See, now I was talking about these Famore snips here and how amazing they are with being that little curve there, that curve right there. So this is why I love it, because it gets underneath really closely. I like to trim this while the stabilizer is still on there because it makes it easier to grab it and not get stuck in the hoop. And sometimes they go down along the lines and you really can't see them, so you could leave it there if you wanted to. All right, now this is the fun part. Who else loves ripping away water-soluble stabilizer? I love it. All right, so remember I talked to you about this seam fix, seam ripper? I know there are tennis ball tricks, and I know there's wet some stabilizer and get it all off, but I didn't have to do any wetting, didn't need any water, and just that quick, I got my stabilizer off. All right, so on the back side now, I use these pokey things here, awls, how would you say that? AWL. Go to Harbor Freight and find, packs of 4 different ones. I use these also for taking out water-soluble stabilizer. They're also great for using in the hoop. Using for when you're stitching, holding down fabric, and some people use a chopstick. These are great to use. So someone asked about sticky stabilizer. Jerky also has sticky stabilizer. It's called Filmoplast, and it is amazing. All right, one more to go, and then there you go. All stitched up. So that was a really long live. I apologize it took so long for such a short project. We spent less time, but I'm just so happy to be able to be here with you and connect and talk to you. So let me look quickly, make sure you get your #creative in. Oh, Caroline, really? Those scissors are like the ones used for taking out stitches in the doctor's office. Well, yep, stitches here too. Stitches here too. All right. Yes, Tamara, those are awesome. Did you post a link for the scissors? I did post a link for the scissors, also for the rotary cutter. You could just go to Famore Cutlery, FAMORE cutlery.com, and use the code creative, because that will give you a discount. It will give you a discount on, I think it's 10% on your purchase. So, all right, let's see any other comments we've got going on or questions. That worked better than a Q-tip. Yeah, I like it better than the Q-tip artist, because the end of it, really, it's kind of like it's rubbery, so it's kind of like an eraser a little bit, and so it just really grabs onto the end of it and pulls it off really easily. Thank you, Donna. She said it worked, turned out great. I appreciate it. And so Danielle from Durkee Hoops said, one additional Durkee recommendation: in lieu of clamps, use conventional backing on the underside of the easy frame and secure to the top with painter's tape. This avoids possibility of scratching the bed of the machine with the clamps. That is a wonderful tip. Thank you for sharing that, Danielle. So essentially what you would do is, let's tear this off here really quickly and show you that. Okay, so what essentially Danielle was saying is, if you take your Durkee hoop, your easy frame, and I'm going to use my piece of paper here. So you have your easy frame, okay, and this is the front side. So if you take a piece of regular stabilizer, this is paper, but in lieu of time, regular stabilizer, and then you tape it around the edges and the side, that way you can use the regular stabilizer on there and not have those clamps that could scratch the bed of your machine. Another note I want to make, though, is like, if you're trying to do the hat with that, then you're going to need to want to do some spray adhesive on here, temporary spray adhesive, so that you can kind of get the hat to stick to the stabilizer. All right. What was that seam ripper? It's called a seam fix. Seam fix. Thank you, Joanne. Yes, I love that seam ripper. I think I use it more for removing the water-soluble stabilizer than anything else. All right, last few minutes, last chance to get your hashtag creative. And let me show you really quickly how to find
whenever
us
we
on...
go live. So here's how to do that. Go to your Facebook page, click on the magnifying glass, and search for Creative Appliques Embroidery. Click on that. Once you're there, make sure you have liked our page and that you have clicked on follow and you are following us. Once you are following us, click on the 3 dots. Click on Follow Settings. Here you can change the settings on how you're notified about when we post and go live. Click on Favorites. That way you'll see it higher in your newsfeed. On posts, make sure it's set to standard. On video, make sure it's set to all notifications. For live video, make sure it's set to all notifications. Once you've done that, click on Update. That way you'll be notified every time we go live and when we post. Also make sure that you're liking and commenting and sharing our posts as well. That way Facebook will continue to share them with you.
All right, so please remember to, on Facebook, like this video, follow my Facebook page. That way, Facebook will show you more of what you interact with. So if you like and watch a lot of cat videos, they're going to continue showing you cat videos. If you like and follow Creative Appliques because you like their designs and their fonts and their live videos, they will continue showing you more of my content, which are giveaways, live demos, sales, new releases, list goes on. So please like and follow on Facebook. Also on YouTube, I think I have over 100 videos on there now. So if you like and subscribe also on YouTube and like my videos, then I know you enjoy my content and you want to continue seeing more of me, because I really enjoy doing these and I love connecting with you all and sharing with you tips and tricks and just being here and discussing things. So there you go. So for the for the Durkee frame, when you go to their website and purchase, make sure you use the code DAWN so that you get your discount. And now I am going to pick the winners. So the first drawing I'm going to do is going to be for the Durkee single needle easy frame. So here we go. Ah, shoot. I forgot to share it. Hang on. I need to present. Sorry. All right, so that winner was Brenda Martin. I will show it to you here in a second. Why am I not seeing it? Hang on, I apologize. I started it. It went. Let me see. Cancel. Present. There we go. So Brenda Martin was the one who won the single needle easy frame. So Brenda, if you contact me through the website creativeappliques.com and go to contact us, I will share the information with Durkee. So congratulations on winning the frame. Now let's draw again, and this one will be for the $20 store credit to the Creative Appliques website. And again, you just message me. So Patty, congratulations. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I am glad that we have our winners. And if you have any questions about the video, please, you can contact me through my website at Creative Appliques. Thank you for being here. Give it a thumbs up. And I want you to try this and share it with me on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, in our Facebook group. And thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today. I know it was a bit longer, but we covered a lot of ground. I think there was a lot of good information that was covered in here, and I hope you enjoyed it. So until next time, guys, make your life creative. Bye for now.